Welcome back to the Aromatic Journey. I'm Jake,
And I'm Jill.
and today we're taking a deep dive into the science behind essential oils,
That's right.
specifically their antimicrobial and antioxidant properties.
Yes.
So get ready for some aha moments because we got some fascinating research to unpack.
Absolutely.
And hey, while you're listening, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future aromatic adventures.
Yes, definitely.
So we're diving into a comprehensive, systematic review
Okay.
from Nutrients, which analyzes a whole bunch of studies on this topic,
Yeah.
plus a study that gets into the nitty-gritty details of how specific essential oil compounds actually work.
It does.
Okay, so you're saying we're going from the big picture to the microscopic level.
Exactly.
That's cool. But before we get too deep, can you remind us what makes essential oils so special when it comes to fighting microbes?
Sure. Essential oils have been used for centuries in traditional medicine.
Right.
And what's exciting is that modern science is starting to validate many of their benefits.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is how certain essential oils can actually stop the growth of harmful bacteria, fungi, and even those multi-drug resistant strains that are so tough to treat.
Wait, so you're saying essential oils could potentially be an alternative to conventional antibiotics?
It's definitely a promising area of research.
That's huge.
It is.
So, for example, the review highlights how thyme oil was tested against S. aureus,
Right.
a common culprit in infections.
Yes.
And get this, oregano oil was shown to tackle E. coli.
Uh-huh.
There was even research on a blend of essential oils going up against H. pylori, the bacteria linked to stomach ulcers.
Yes.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Yes.
Different oils seem to be effective against different microbes.
Exactly.
But how do they actually work? Do they all attack bacteria in the same way?
That's a great question. It turns out they have different mechanisms of action.
Okay.
Some essential oils actually disrupt the bacterial cell membrane, breaking down their defenses.
So it's like they're punching holes in the bacteria's armor.
Exactly. But others interfere with something called quorum sensing,
Okay.
which is basically how bacteria communicate with each other.
Quorum sensing. That sounds intense. Why is that important?
Well, think of it this way. Bacteria use quorum sensing to coordinate their attacks and form biofilms,
Okay.
which are those tough, resistant communities that can be incredibly difficult to treat with conventional methods.
Right.
By disrupting quorum sensing essential oils can essentially prevent bacteria from ganging up and becoming more powerful.
Wow, that's amazing. So some essential oils act like disruptors, preventing the bacteria from communicating and forming those super strong biofilms.
Yeah.
But the research we're looking at also goes even deeper,
This
right?
does.
You mentioned something about the molecular level.
Absolutely. One of the studies used computer modeling to see how specific oil constituents,
Okay.
like thymol and carvacrol, interact with bacterial enzymes.
Uh-huh.
What's fascinating is that they found certain compounds could potentially block the activity of beta-lactamases.
Okay, I have to admit, beta-lactamases sounds a bit intimidating.
Right.
Can you break that down for me?
Think of beta-lactamases as the bacteria's shields,
Got it.
protecting them from antibiotics.
Got it.
But these essential oil compounds can sneak past those shields and make the bacteria more vulnerable.
Okay.
It's like a 1-2 punch, first disrupting the bacteria's defenses and then making them more susceptible to antibiotics.
That's incredible. It's like these essential oils are tiny warriors fighting on a microscopic battlefield.
Yeah.
And the science is giving us a front row seat to the action.
Exactly.
So we've seen how essential oil can combat microbes directly.
Yes.
But they also have another powerful weapon in their arsenal, right? Antioxidants.
You got it.
Okay, so tell me about those.
Antioxidants are essential for protecting our cells from damage caused by free radicals.
Right.
Think of free radicals like little rusting agents, slowly causing damage over time.
Okay.
Antioxidants act like knights in shining armor, swooping in to neutralize those free radicals before they can wreak havoc.
And essential oils are packed with these protective antioxidants.
You bet. The systematic review we're looking at highlights how essential oils, particularly those rich in phenolic compounds,
Okay.
showed impressive antioxidant activity in cell models.
Interesting.
What's really interesting is that even at quite low doses, these oils were effective.
So a little bit of essential oil can go a long way in protecting our cells.
Yes.
That's good to know. It's like giving our bodies a daily dose of armor against the constant barrage of environmental stressors and toxins.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of essential oils that pack a punch,
Yes.
didn't we see that thyme oil was a real standout?
Yes.
I mean, we've already talked about its antimicrobial properties.
Right.
But are you telling me it's a potent antioxidant too?
Thyme oil is a true multitasker. It's loaded with thymol,
Right.
which not only fights bacteria and fungi, but also acts as a potent antioxidant.
And here's a fun fact for our listeners. Thymol is actually a key ingredient in many popular mouthwashes.
That's right.
So you might already be experiencing the power of thyme oil without even realizing it.
Exactly.
It just goes to show how much potential these natural compounds have.
They do.
But before we get too carried away with the antioxidant power of essential oils, there's one more area we need to dive into.
Okay.
You mentioned something about essential oils influencing our immune system.
We did, and this is where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
Remember how the systematic review mentioned essential oils potentially modifying the secretion of cytokines?
I do remember that word popping up.
Yes.
But to be honest, I'm a little fuzzy on what cytokines actually do.
Think of cytokines as the messengers of your immune system,
Okay.
telling your cells what to do and how to respond to threats.
Okay.
Research suggests that certain essential oils might help fine-tune this delicate balance,
Okay.
potentially helping to regulate the immune system's response.
So it's not just about boosting immunity across the board, but about achieving a delicate balance.
Yes.
That makes sense. But we've covered a lot of ground already. Maybe it's time to take a little break and let our listeners absorb all this amazing information.
Sounds good to me.
We'll be back in a jiffy to delve into more specifics about these incredible essential oils.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. I don't know about you, but my mind is officially blown.
I know, right?
We've talked about essential oils disrupting bacterial membranes, messing with their communication systems, and even boosting our own antioxidant defenses.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to get even more specific.
Okay.
Can we dive into some examples of essential oils and how they stack up against those microscopic villains?
Absolutely. Let's start with thyme oil, which we've already touched on.
Okay.
It's a real powerhouse when it comes to fighting S. aureus,
Right.
a bacteria that can cause everything from skin infections to more serious complications.
And we talked about how it's packed with thymol, which acts like a tiny battering ram against bacteria.
Yes.
But is there more to the story?
There is. Thyme oil, especially when it's rich in a compound called carvacrol, seems to have this incredible ability to disrupt the bacterial cell membrane.
Uh-huh.
It's like it weakens their defenses, making them more vulnerable.
So it's not just about brute force, but also about strategic weakening of the enemy.
Exactly.
Fascinating. What about other oils? Didn't we see some promising results with oregano oil?
We did. Oregano oil contains carvacrol as well,
Okay.
but it also has another potent compound called thymol.
Right.
Remember how we talked about E. coli being a common culprit in foodborne illnesses?
Yes.
Well, oregano oil effectively inhibited its growth in the studies we looked at.
That makes sense. I've heard about people using oregano oil for food preservation and even cleaning.
Right.
That's like nature's disinfectant. But what about those pesky stomach ulcers?
Yes.
Weren't some of the studies looking at essential oils for that?
Yes. And this is a great example of how combining different essential oils can create a synergistic effect. The research actually looked at a blend of oils in this case, and it seemed to be more effective than any single oil on its own.
So it's like creating an all-star team of essential oils, each with its own special skills.
Exactly. And this synergy is something that researchers are really starting to explore.
Yeah.
It's like designing a custom blend of superheroes to combat those microscopic villains.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked a lot about how essential oils attack bacteria directly.
Right.
Let's circle back to that concept of quorum sensing.
Okay.
How do oils interfere with bacterial communication?
Right. It's like jamming their signals so they can't coordinate their attacks, right?
Exactly.
But why is that so important?
It all comes down to biofilms.
Okay.
Think of biofilms as those fortified cities that bacteria build to protect themselves.
Right.
They're much harder to penetrate with conventional treatments.
Got it.
But essential oils can disrupt quorum sensing, which weakens those biofilms and makes the bacteria more susceptible.
So it's like cutting off their supply lines and weakening their defenses from the inside. Brilliant. But I remember you mentioning a study that took things even further,
Yes.
looking at how specific essential oil compounds interact with bacterial enzymes at a molecular level.
Right.
That one went over my head a bit, to be honest.
It is getting into the nitty-gritty details,
Yeah.
but it's pretty amazing.
Okay.
They used computer modeling to actually see how compounds like thymol and carvacrol interact with bacterial enzymes.
Okay.
And what they found was remarkable.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. What did they find?
These compounds, particularly thymol and carvacrol, were able to block the activity of certain enzymes that bacteria use to resist antibiotics.
Wow.
It's like they're disarming the bacteria, making them more vulnerable to conventional treatments.
So it's like a double whammy.
Yes.
They attack the bacteria directly. A and D make them more susceptible to antibiotics.
Exactly.
That's incredible. It really opens up a whole new avenue for research into using essential oils alongside conventional medicine.
It does.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's shift gears and talk about antioxidants.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Remember how we discussed free radicals being those unstable molecules that can damage our cells, contributing to aging and all sorts of health issues?
Right. And antioxidants are like those little Pac-Man characters gobbling up the free radicals before they can cause too much trouble.
Exactly. And essential oils are loaded with these protective antioxidants, particularly phenolic compounds.
Okay.
What's really exciting is that the research showed that even small amounts of essential oil can make a big difference in fighting free radicals.
So little goes a long way.
Yes.
That's encouraging. It's like giving our bodies a daily dose of armor against the constant barrage of environmental stressors and toxins.
Yes.
And speaking of essential oils that are multi-talented, let's talk about thyme oil again.
Okay.
I mean, we've already covered its antimicrobial powers, but it's also a potent antioxidant.
It's a true superstar. Thyme oil, with its high concentration of thymol, is incredibly versatile.
Okay.
It not only fights bacteria and fungi, but also acts as a powerful antioxidant, protecting our cells from damage.
Okay.
And as we mentioned before, thymol is a common ingredient in many mouthwashes, so people might already be reaping its benefits without even realizing it.
That's a great point. It makes me wonder what other everyday products might contain these hidden essential oil gems.
Right.
But you know what else is fascinating about essential oils and antioxidants?
What's that?
They don't just passively neutralize free radicals.
Right.
They also seem to boost our body's own natural antioxidant defenses.
That's right. It's like they're giving our cells a pep talk, encouraging them to fight back on their own.
I love that analogy.
It's this amazing synergy between the power of nature and our own body's innate healing abilities.
That's awesome.
But I know we're eager to dive into specific essential oils and their unique properties.
Yes.
So let's transition to that now, right?
Absolutely. Bring on the essential oil profiles. All right, Jill, I'm ready to hear about some of these essential oil superstars. We've talked about thyme oil and oregano oil, but what other essential oils have caught the attention of researchers?
Well, let's start with a classic.
Lavender oil.
Lavender oil.
It's famous for its relaxing aroma.
Right.
And it turns out it's also a bit of a warrior when it comes to fighting bacteria.
Really? I know people use lavender oil for sleep and relaxation, but I had no idea it had antimicrobial properties.
Yeah.
What kind of bacteria can it tackle?
Studies have shown that lavender oil can inhibit the growth of some pretty nasty bacteria, including S. aureus and E. coli.
Wow, that's impressive. But how does it work? Does it use a similar strategy to thyme and oregano oil?
It does. Lavender oil seems to work by disrupting the bacterial cell membrane,
Okay.
similar to those other powerhouse oils.
Got it.
But it's also been traditionally used for wound healing,
Right.
and there's research to back that up.
Oh, yeah. I have heard of people using lavender oil for burns and cuts. So not only can it fight off infection, but it can also help speed up the healing process.
That's right. It seems to have this soothing and protective quality,
Yeah.
making it a great choice for supporting skin health.
But let's move on to another popular oil that's been making waves in the research.
Okay.
Tea tree oil.
Oh, yeah, tea tree oil. I've used that for everything from acne to athlete's foot, and it's always seemed to do the trick.
Yeah.
It's known for being a potent antimicrobial right.
It definitely lives up to its reputation. Tea tree oil is especially effective against fungal infections.
Okay.
And it's even been shown to combat some drug-resistant strains,
Wow.
which is incredible.
Drug-resistant fungi. That
Uh,
sounds scary. But how does tea tree oil manage to take those on?
It seems to work by disrupting the fungal cell wall,
Okay.
essentially breaking down their defenses.
Got it.
But it's not just limited to skin infections either. Researchers are also investigating its potential in treating oral infections
Interesting.
and even some viral infections.
So it's a multi-purpose warrior ready to take on a variety of microbial threats.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty amazing.
Okay.
Okay, so we've talked about lavender oil and tea tree oil, both known for their antimicrobial prowess. But what about essential oils that excel in the antioxidant department?
Okay.
I'm thinking of citrus oils like lemon oil. It always makes me feel so energized and focused.
That's because lemon oil is a powerhouse of an antioxidant, helping to protect our cells from those pesky free radicals we talked about earlier.
So it's like a little ray of sunshine in a bottle.
Yes.
Both uplifting and protective. I like that. But what makes lemon oil such a good antioxidant?
It's rich in a compound called limon,
Okay.
which is known for its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties.
Yeah.
And there's even some evidence suggesting that lemon oil can help boost the immune system.
Wait, really? So not only does it fight those damaging free radicals, but it might also help our immune cells do their job better. That's amazing. It's like it's cheering on our immune system.
Exactly. Lemon oil is a great example of how these essential oils can have multiple benefits,
Yeah.
working on different levels to support our health and well-being.
This is all so fascinating.
Uh.
But I know there are hundreds of essential oils out there. We've only just scratched the surface today.
We have, and it's important to remember that we're still learning so much about these incredible plant extracts.
Right.
The research we've discussed today is incredibly promising, but there's always more to explore, especially when it comes to clinical applications.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
We should always approach essential oils with a healthy dose of curiosity and skepticism,
Yes,
seeking out reliable information and doing our own research.
absolutely.
But one thing is clear, nature provides us with an incredible toolbox for supporting our health.
Uh-huh.
And its essential oils are a perfect example of that.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Huh.
I encourage our listeners to keep exploring the world of essential oils, to approach them with respect and an open mind, and to share their experiences with others.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing journey of discovery, and the more we learn, the better equipped we are to make informed choices about our health and well-being.
Well, Jake, it looks like we've reached the end of our deep dive into the antimicrobial and antioxidant powers of essential oils. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired to go diffuse some lavender and lemon oil right now.
Me too. It's been an amazing journey, and thanks to everyone for joining us.
And as always, thanks for tuning into the Aromatic Journey. Keep exploring and stay curious.